Pine Bluff, Arkansas, a town rich with history. This is the story of Walter Wiley Jones. Walter Wiley Jones was born a slave in Madison County, Georgia on July 14, 1848. His father was George Jones, a white planter, and his mother was George Jones's slave, Anne. George and Anne had 6 children together. Anne reportedly named her son Walter after the doctor that had delivered him. At a young age, Anne started calling him Wiley because it fit his mischievous character. The nickname stuck, and Wiley chose to use it for the rest of his life. In 1853, George Jones moved his plantation operations, which included Wiley Jones's family and approximately 40 other slaves, all to the Pine Bluff, Arkansas area. In 1858, George Jones became ill and died. Some sources indicate that George Jones considered Anne his wife and had promised her and her family freedom upon his passing. However, upon his death, no such papers were found. Maybe the papers got lost. Subsequently, Peter Finnerty, the estate administrator, sold the family to the James Yale family in Pine Bluff. When Wiley Jones was 10, James Yale gave him to his son, Pitts. During the Civil War, Pitts Yale became a colonel in the Confederate Army. Pitts Yale took Wiley to war along with him to serve him. Pitts Yale died at the Battle of Pleasant Hill in Louisiana in 1864. Following Pitts Yale's death, Wiley joined his family in Waco, Texas, where James Yale had relocated. After the Civil War, Wiley Jones and the Yale family all moved to Monticello, Arkansas. He considered moving to Fort Smith, however he decided that he liked Pine Bluff better. So in the latter part of 1865, he left the Yale plantation and moved to Pine Bluff. While in Pine Bluff, he worked as a mule driver for a brief period. He then returned to Monticello, where he became the manager of the Yale plantation, for which he was paid $20 per month. He eventually left Monticello again and moved back to Pine Bluff. Once back in Pine Bluff, Wiley Jones worked hard for over 10 years on various jobs such as a barber and a hotel waiter. During that time, he saved his money, invested in real estate, and loaned money with interest to his friends. In 1876, Wiley Jones opened a saloon at 207 South Main Street. His brother James worked with Wiley Jones as the manager for several of his businesses. One of his best and well-known businesses was the Southern Mercantile Company. Wiley Jones had a love for horses and horse racing, so he built a 55-acre park near 17th and Main Street in Pine Bluff. The park was a city recreational park which also featured a harness racing track. The park was the home to fairs, bicycle races, and annual May Day celebrations. The Colored State Fair was also held on his property. The park was a spectacular area that housed amphitheaters, ornate gardens, and horse stables. In 1886, Wiley Jones secured a franchise license from the City Council of Pine Bluff to operate a mule-drawn streetcar system. The streetcar franchise was named the Jones Street Railway and Equipment Company. The Wiley Jones streetcar lines was for colored patrons only. It literally ran alongside the whites-only Citizens Street Railway Company's streetcars. The Citizens Street Railway Company had received its franchise license in 1885. The Jones Street Railway and Equipment Company and the Citizen Street Railway Company both ran at a financial loss for most of the year. However, the profit made when the Colored State Fair was in town financed operations for the full year for Wiley Jones's company. In 1890, Wiley Jones purchased the failing Citizens Railway Company and merged the two. In 1889, Wiley Jones partnered with Edward Houston to redevelop an area outside of Pine Bluff known as White Sulphur Springs. White Sulphur Springs was to be a beautiful resort suburb town of Pine Bluff. The area had hotels, fine restaurants, swimming pool, bowling alley, billiards hall, summer homes, and, of course, Sulphur Springs. The town enjoyed success and tragedy throughout its years. Today, the area is simply called Sulphur Springs and lacks the splendor that it once had. Wiley Jones never ran for political office, but he was one of Jefferson County's most influential political citizens in the 1880s and 1890s. Wiley Jones supported the Colored Industrial Institute on 16th Avenue and State Street. He also donated land on 4th and Poplar for the Black St. James United Methodist Church. Wiley Jones died on December 7, 1904 in his home at 19th and Georgia Street from a heart attack and Bright's disease. At the time of his death, he was the richest African American in Arkansas. He was buried in his own cemetery west of Bellwood Cemetery, which is now known as Miller Cemetery in Pine Bluff, Arkansas.